Hey everybody, welcome to Trending with Suyo. Every week we'll have an interesting member of the community come and share thoughts on their careers, passion, and lives. These individuals will give you a rare perspective on the challenges but best moments of their chosen paths. So my hope is that these conversations will help inspire you to find your true calling. So join me and see what you learn. So guys, have you ever wanted to help someone plan their wedding, or maybe even plan your wedding, and you just don't know where to start? You don't know which vendors to choose, how to book like the venue, the DJ, the MC. There's so much that goes on into planning a wedding. I'm getting stressed out even just talking about it. Well, don't worry. We have an expert here with me today. Vahini, welcome to Trending with Suyo.
Thank you for having me, Suyo. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you so much. Well, I told everybody how amazing and expert you are. So you are going to tell us exactly what we need to do today. Why is it important, first of all, to book an event planner?
It's so important to book a wedding planner because, well, first of all, you probably work a 9-to-5 job, you have family responsibilities, you have friends, and planning a wedding takes a lot of time. It is more than just like a 1 hour per day task.
Yeah.
You have to email your vendors, you have to wait for responses, do research, because, you know, you can't just book any vendor. You need to make sure that they and you connect. You know, everybody's vision is different. Like for photography, maybe your vision for photography is different from another from the photographer that you're looking at. So it's really important to hire somebody who is able to bring your vision and the right vendors together. Also, time, again, takes a lot of time to plan a wedding. Budgeting, you may not know how much a wedding costs these days, right? It is very expensive. So let's just say you book a hall that takes up more than 3/4 of your budget, then what are you going to do with the rest, right? So hiring a wedding planner will help you stay on budget, bring your vision to life. And of course, the main thing is on the day of your wedding, you and your family can enjoy the wedding.
Without it being stressful.
Without your mom saying, "Auntie, come here for alati. I need a kala auntie to do the, you know, alati for this, the sample for the coconut." You know, I can manage all of that for you. So that you and your family are on the mandavam, just relaxing and taking everything in.
So you handle the stress while we chill.
Pretty much,
See, guys, this is why you need her. So, Vahini, tell me about your journey. Like, let's go back when you first, before you started, because you first started in the industry as a florist, as Blue Blossoms, right? So how did you, because you were doing a totally different program in school. So how did that whole switch happen?
Honestly, I still think it's so crazy how I'm here today, because I never in a million years thought I would be a florist, or two, a wedding planner. My goal at that point in life was to go into forensic psychology. I was in Centennial doing community and criminal justice, and the plan was to go to UOIT, branch off into forensic psychology. But, you know, my path took a different direction. I got pregnant and I got married. And after that, it's like, once you get pregnant and you get married, I felt like my entire life was kind of crumbling. I did try to go back to school when my son was 1 month old, just so that I can finish, because for me, it was so important for me to finish this program. But I had postpartum depression, and I just wasn't able to just focus in school or just in life in general. And that's when I remembered my girlfriend Leah was also one of my college friends. She was a florist, and she helped me make my wedding bouquet. And we had like casually mentioned, oh, one day we'll open up a flower store. And I was like, yeah, one day we will. You know, like it wasn't really my passion or anything, but I thought, okay, sure, we will. And then I called her and said, hey, remember when you said you wanted to open a flower store? Do you want to do it with me? And she's like, well, I'm in a different path in my life right now. It's not what I want to do. So I said, okay, that's fine. And I just did not want to start something without having a background and knowledge in it. So I went to the Toronto Floral School. I educated myself. I took courses there, and then I started Blue Blossoms. So you mentioned postpartum, and I feel like a lot of people don't talk about that. So tell us some of the challenges that you faced during postpartum, and how do we recognize it? Because I also wanted to mention that I read one of your articles on Tamil culture where you mentioned that, you know, you walked around with a smile on your face, but the whole time you were depressed. So what are some of the signs that, you know, to look out for? For me, honestly, it was, I didn't realize it at that time, but the minute my son was born, I did not want to hold him. You know, it makes me sad sometimes thinking about it, but that was the first indication of that.
Okay.
You know, mom not wanting to hold her kid. It was like a big thing, but I just, you know, we just swept it under the rug. Like, oh, she had 2 hours of labor, you know, she's probably tired. But then everything came crumbling down. Like, I was tired all the time. I wanted to sleep all the time. I really did not have a bond with my eldest son, Noah, for a very long time. My mother ended up coming into our home and taking care of the baby when my husband went to work.
Yeah.
And she would leave when he comes back, because I was just not connected with Noah at all. Sleeping a lot, no interest in anything. You know, I tried going back to school. I couldn't focus. Like, my GPA was so high before I got pregnant. And then after, it was just like, I just couldn't do 3 weeks of school. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Just recognizing that if you're, you know, any mom after giving birth most times might feel lonely. You know, if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling, you know, just you need to sleep all the time, or maybe you're not sleeping at all.
Yeah.
Maybe just talk to your doctor or something.
Yeah.
Or even a friend.
And what do you say to cultures that, you know, don't recognize postpartum as even a thing? Right?
Yeah. I think back in my mom's time, it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
You know, so they never talked about it.
Right.
For instance, I look back and I'm thinking my mom is probably depressed because she lost her son 19 days before I was born.
Oh, wow.
Right? So she didn't recognize it. And then when I started doing the same symptoms, she thought it was normal because there was no one to teach her that this was postpartum depression.
Right.
So I think it's just about how our parents were raised. And then, you know, they never really educated me, at least. My mom never really educated me. So I didn't really know it at first. It took a really scary incident for everybody to be like, oh, okay, maybe there's something more than her just being tired.
So how did you get into Blue Blossom after that? Is that why you went into Blue Blossom? Because you wanted to kind of get your mind off of things?
Yeah. So my husband was like, after the scary incident that happened, he's like, you know, we really need to find something for you to do.
Yeah.
I was talking to a therapist and like, let's find something that you like to do.
Yeah.
And it was then when we both realized that, you know, I did have like doing flowers with Leah when she did my bouquet. So that was just something that I wanted to try out.
Yeah.
Something to do while I'm at home. So that's how that came to be.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing that. I really appreciate it. So when you started Blues Blossom, you were shadowing planner Flans, and you're a new mom still. So how did you find time and how did you find clients as like this new entrepreneur that's starting off? Because everyone asks me all the time, they're like, Suyo, you work, you do emceeing, like, you know, how, and you're your mom. So how do you do all that at once? So
I, for a good few years, I was just doing flowers.
Yeah.
And then it was, I think it was just before COVID, or I think it was just, no, it was a couple of years before COVID. I started to shadow some of my girlfriends that were in the Tamil industry and not in the Tamil industry.
Okay.
Just so I can get both perspectives. And during that time, my mom and dad are so supportive.
okay.
They are my biggest, like they come before my husband. They are my biggest cheerleaders. They're my biggest supporters. And they believe like I can do anything if they support me. And that's really it. Right now, my kids are with them. Right. My parents are very hands-on. My mom, she thinks her entire life role was to raise me and my kids. Right. So I have a lot of help. Okay. That's why I'm able to do everything that I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So Vahini, tell me about like the process from the time that we book you or a client books you till the day of their wedding. So how does that process look like?
Sure. So for our first consultation after the booking, we'll go through your budget and your vision, and you tell me how you envision your wedding to be, how many guests you want to have. I take all that information and I go back and start doing the research and finding vendors that will fit your budget and your vision. Then I come back to you and present you with what I have. And if you're content, we move forward with the contract, we sign off. I'll start looking at decor, finding the perfect vendor for decor, doing all the small little touches like menu cards, name cards, if we're doing all that. Maybe a cute little coloring page for the kids with your engagement pictures or something fun like that. And then on the day of, my team and I are there to execute the event and take care of all the stress so that you and your family can really just be in that moment and enjoy that day.
Like even when you're mentioning the cue cards, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's something that you have to do. Like we don't even think of the little things. That's why it's so nice to have you there, right? But like, you know how it's so stressful for us being on the other side? How do you face the challenges and the stress, like the unexpected stuff that comes up?
Okay, you're gonna think this is funny, but I'm someone that just in life general, I need to think of A, B, and C. So I don't know if it's my anxiety or like I just need to know, like, I'm going shopping. What if I don't make it on time to pick up my kids? What's plan B? What's plan C? So I have plan A, B, and C for every wedding. So if your makeup doesn't show on time, what's plan B? Okay, well, in the itinerary, I've already budgeted 15 to 30 minutes for any hiccups. So I do think ahead of time to avoid chaos, because we don't want chaos on your wedding day, especially as a bride. That's like a lot for you.
For sure. Exactly. That's the main thing, right? We don't want to turn into bridezilla. That's what we need to. So what do you, like if somebody is, what tips would you give somebody that is planning their wedding, for example?
Tips for somebody that is planning their wedding is first sit down with your family and figure out your guest list. Because your guest list will determine your venue. For instance, you want a beautiful venue that only has a capacity of 100 people. But you and your family are doing 200 people. We can just exit venue out and not waste time. So find out your guest list, have an approximate number and a budget first before you start planning your wedding. This will help you narrow down venues and vendors that might not fit your budget.
And what advice do you have somebody that wants to be the next Vahini?
Be the next Vahini. Honestly, I would say reach out to one of your favorite wedding planners and see if you can shadow them. Learn from them, get some tips from them, or have a coffee date with them and see if you can pick their brain. Like I have a lot of girls that just message me and be like, hey Vahini, can I have a chat with you? And like for instance, this girl reached out for flower advice. She wants to be a florist. So I sent her to Mary, my professor at the Toronto Flower School. She took a course there. She's so happy. We sat down and over the phone and talked about where she needs to start and what she needs to do and stuff. So I'm excited for her to start this journey. But yeah, just reach out to your favorite vendors and see if they have time to like coach you, and maybe you can shadow them and intern with them.
And Vahini, like you were so vulnerable with us today, and you told us so many things that, you know, a lot of people would not share. So I really want to thank you. And looking back at your journey, right? Like how do you feel like when you look back at everything that you've gone through and where you are today?
I'm always still in awe, like, oh my God, like this is my life right now. Sometimes I have to be like, yes, this is not where I wanted to be, because in the back of my head, I've always wanted to do forensic psychology, but I'm really happy with where I am right now. I do have the flexibility to be like, I don't want to work in the winter because my kids have now been vocal that I'm not around. So now I don't book weddings until May. So I have that flexibility to raise my kids and be with them and do what I love to do as well.
And what's the future plan for you and your business?
Well, I have a few things. I have branched out to the US. I have a handful of clients in the US that I'm so excited to plan for next year, and I hope to grow a team there. And 10, 15 years from now, the thing is, I don't know if wedding planning is what I will be doing. My heart and soul has always been into charity, especially with my son being autistic. So we do, my family and I do have a plan for that, but we'll let you know when the time is right.
Wow, you're amazing in like everything. So I want to wish you all the best, first of all, for your business, for your family, for you. You know, I know like this might not be anything for you, but I am very proud of you.
Thank you.
For how far you've come. And you know, I want to wish you from the bottom of my heart all the best.
Thank you.
And keep doing you and keep growing your business. And when I call you, like come back and fly back down. Like if you're in the States or you're wherever, you have to come. I get first priority.
I will always do you. I will take you.
They are watching, So you can't
first
back
priority here.
Well, thank you so much, Vahini, for being on Trending with Suyo. Is there anything that you want to say to us?
No, thank you so much for having me. This was fun. I'm so excited to see your podcast grow. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode with Vahini, and tune in next time for another great story on Trending with Suyo. Make sure you guys go and follow her on Instagram and all her social media handles. And if you are getting married, like I said, you want to be like stress-free, so give her all the stress. So book her and follow me next time on Trending with Suyo. Bye, guys.